Hey, welcome to an Edge Factor virtual workplace experience. Today, Garrett talks to us about vacuum pump production at Fruitland Manufacturing. We'll be looking at the following chapters. Chapter 1, an overview of Fruitland Manufacturing. Chapter 2, education and careers at Fruitland Manufacturing. Chapter 3, tools and technology found at Fruitland Manufacturing. And finally, Chapter 4, the vacuum pump manufacturing process. Let's get started.
Hi guys, my name's Garrett White. Welcome to Fruitland Manufacturing in Hamilton, Ontario. We have two plants here at Fruitland, and we are a full-service machine, tooling, and dyeing shop, which means we make anything you can imagine out of metal. We have an assembly plant and we have a full-service machine shop where we can take on jobbing projects and all sorts of production projects for many different industries around the world, like oil and gas, like aerospace, even NASA, Boeing, all of these big industries. Anything out of any type of metal you can imagine, using large CNC machines, tooling and dyeing processes, modern equipment, old equipment, and all different kinds of trades. But our main product here at Fruitland is vacuum pumps. That's what we've been building best, and we've been doing that for over 50 years. We are one of the industry leaders. We build one tough pump, and it's the toughest pump on the market. We take one-off jobs and small run jobs for auto manufacturers, some plain parts for big airliners, oil and gas industry too. The vacuum pump is literally used all around the world. We use it in desert environments in the Middle East for oil and gas industry, as well as regular sanitation and other projects. We use it way up north. Our pump was featured in Ice Road Truckers, if you've heard of that show. Literally all over the world. In Asia as well, we've got several large clients. We deal out to our dealer network, which exists all over the world, and then they use the pumps for all sorts of things. But the regular thing that you would see around here is big vacuum trucks, the ones that do porta potties. Mobile applications is the big one around here, so usually on a truck. At Fruitland, we offer many different types of career paths, many different kinds of ways. We'll take people with all different educational experiences. We're going to start it off right now in the welding area here, where we have 3 robot welders, which is something that's very interesting to a lot of people. And there's some additional schooling you can take to learn that. We have a guy here who's an expert at running those, and they're very difficult to operate without that kind of schooling. So that's a perfect example of something where we encourage education in our workers, and we hope that they'll want to pursue these kinds of things. This is our welding department behind the flash curtains. Those curtains help keep the arc flashes away from people as they walk by. So we do all kinds of welding here: MIG, TIG, stick welding, aluminum welding. So for welders, this really is a cornucopia of things to offer. This is our aluminum room here. Whenever we do aluminum welding, we need to keep it separate from other welds, because the metal contamination can really affect how that goes. We have a press room here with several large hydraulic presses, as well as the Fab Master, which can do all sorts of pressing and cutting and crimping. These are some of our older machines here at Fruitland. The big one in the back there is called Bartman, and you can see the Bart sticker at the top of it. It's a little old though. That one's about as old as the company. There's lots of apprenticeships and learning opportunities that we can walk you through here at Fruitland. So we do take co-op students as well from all different colleges in the area. We work closely with several colleges in the area, as well as Conestoga and Niagara College being the big ones. And we really pride ourselves on the relationship that we have with those colleges. We also try to help promote that amongst our fellow machine shop as well, and get them involved in the programs that are offered by the government and by the colleges for these sorts of things. So right now we have one co-op student working for us who has become a full-time employee, and she came right out of high school, and she's now a machine operator here for us as well. We definitely do employ a full engineering department. We also have regular office opportunities, marketing, accounting, that sort of thing. We do require people with advanced business knowledge up in the office, so a controller, product management, quality control, that sorts of thing. All of these are benefited with a university education. Any post-secondary education is very important and will be useful in your life. But if you really want to do something hands-on and you really want to see your work affecting things in real life, look at your college educations, look at your practical trades, plumbing, electrician, machining. These are all things that pay a lot of money and are looking for skilled people. So Fruitland's been around for a long time, which means this company has seen a great increase in the amount of technology used in our day-to-day production and everyday stuff that we do here at Fruitland. This is an old lathe. It's what we call our old manual lathe. We've upgraded it with a digital display, but that's not part of the original thing. This is a basic technology that you've seen since the early 1800s. It's a lathe, which means that it's a spinning chuck, and you apply tools to a piece that you put in the chuck, and you can change the nature of the piece that you're working on. So this one just spins automatically. The rest of it is manual. The operation of how we move all of our parts in and everything is all manual. And we still use this thing almost every day for various projects. But the technology in this basic form has increased exponentially. You don't even recognize the new kind of stuff. So if we walk down to another kind of lathe here, just to show how this technology changes and increases with time. This is one of our older machines as well. It's a bow ringer. So this is also a lathe, but as you can see, it comes with an automatic tool changer, which means we put 10 different tools on there, and we can program it in using this old control panel here to make automatic tool changes and do all of that stuff automatically. So literally we program it into the machine, we close the door, and then we press start and we monitor it, and then they get even more complicated than that. So this is a newer, bigger version of those two machines that I just showed you. So this one does all the things that those other ones do, except it's much bigger, as you can see, and it's got way more options. And and there's the control panel there. So that's a modern version of the other control panel. And then we can get even more complicated over here, and we can go to our big one. This is the Mazak, and it is the largest version of those two machines, except it's a vertical turning center, and it works on several axes and can basically do anything. So in the old way, we showed you that old lathe there. It takes more art and knowledge and skill to operate that kind of a machine. We lose perhaps a skilled operator because we would need 2 or 3 machines to do what one of these machines can do. So we lose maybe a couple of guys there, but if you take a look at the machine, the complexity of it is huge. We require somebody to maintain the machine. We require people to know programming. We require people who are into hydraulics, people who are into electronics. You know, these are all jobs that are required to keep this machine going. So we lose a few operators, but we gain maybe 5 or 6 jobs just to keep a machine like this operating. We tend to think of jobs as things that we lose with automation, but sometimes it's easy to forget that with automation we gain new jobs as well. With modern advances, we're always looking for leaner operations, right? Which means scalability, which means can we do this kind of thing 100 times and say that it's to within 1,000th of an inch? Yes, we can. On a new machine like this, we can program it in and we can essentially set it and forget it. So as mentioned, we make vacuum pumps here at Fruitland. There's so many different parts that we machine that go into the vacuum pumps. Those are the rotors that go into our pumps. They come in different shapes and sizes. We machine the shaft and we machine the rotor itself. We put the shaft into the rotor. Those are 3 different processes. And then we cut the vane holes into the rotor itself over here. And that's a finished rotor. 4 different machines, 4 different processes that go into manufacturing the rotor. There's so many different parts that go into these pumps that we could talk for 2 weeks about all the different processes and all the steps in those processes that go into making all of the parts, which then have to be assembled into a pump. But we'll just look at one more part here because I know that they're on the machines right now. So this is our Makino alley here. We have 4 different Makino machines, 3 A81s and 1 A71. So just like the other machine here, see we've got a couple of rotors on there right now. Yeah, so he's going to be machining the face of these rotors, so you can see the shiny part there. We've used an end mill to machine that to a nice flat and perfect finish. and then that'll go to a different machine to be finished off in the process. These are boom swivels. That's a different thing that we specialize here in Fruitland. For the various trucks that use our pumps, they have large booms that hang off the trucks. They need a very robust swivel that the boom can operate on that doesn't fail. So we make those here as well. And another part of the pump is the filter boxes. So these are made out of aluminum. And this is our aluminum machine. We make them out of aluminum because aluminum doesn't rust like regular steel does. And the filter boxes are subject to a lot of moisture. So in this machine, you can see the two filter boxes set up there. So we drill the holes, we tap the holes, which means that you can put a screw or a bolt into them. And then we machine all the faces as well to be perfect to within a certain dimension. This is the AWIA. This is one of the bigger machines we have. So this whole area is a working area. The entire machine moves, and it all comes down to a spindle, which is behind that big piece of metal right now. So the machine selects its tools automatically using the carousel on the left. It's all pre-programmed. Okay, so we picked back up in plant B here. So some of the parts we saw over there were in the process of being finalized or being made for our pumps. So they get all brought over here and then they're assembled on this side. So these are our 500 series pumps. This is our flagship pump, the one we sell the most of. These ones are ready to go up for shipping and will probably be sent out in the next couple of days. They get assembled here, they get tested here, and then they get painted and then packaged up for shipping and sent out. These are all pump parts getting pre-assembled for pump assembly. Those are end caps with bearings and bearing inserts in them. Kathy is assembling our backup valve assemblies over there for the pumps as well. So those get put into our diverters, and that's our basic backup valve assembly. These are some pump parts here as well. We machine all these things on the other side. These are pre-assembled and ready to be used on our line. So this is our line where we line up the next pumps ready for assembly. This is the rotor that we saw on the other side after everything's been done to it. So several machines, several processes go just into making the rotor. We have our housing for the pump, and there's the assembled filter box like we saw with the stainless steel filter in the middle. So you look at a piece of metal like this and it's hard to imagine all the processes that go into it. There's a different process that writes our logo on it. There's a different process that makes that hole, different process that cuts all the grooves on the back. Yeah, many different machines and skilled labor goes into this. When we're in full operation, we can keep several assemblers going at once, but right now we've got 3 on the job. There's one of our left side pumps currently in the process of being manufactured. And you can see all the different sizes and styles of pumps that we work on here. That's a 1200, the biggest pump that we run. So we press all of our gaskets here in-house as well, using a gasket press. That's another job that takes some time to learn and to set up. We need to maintain the dies we use for the gaskets as well, and test the materials and test the gaskets as well. So we do 3 pressure tests on the pump when we're assembling them to make sure that everything's working the way we need it to. Sampreet just put pressure into this one, probably 30 psi, and he's just checking it for leaks. So the assemblers, it takes a long time to learn what they do. They have to polish, prep, test, and assemble all of the pumps themselves. And yeah, that's the main thing we make here at Fruitland is the vacuum pumps.